1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with your hosts, myself, Rick Hall, and Wayne Blair. We come to you every Tuesday morning from the studios here at WGNS in Murfreesboro, and we try to focus on the north end of Rutherford County, and it seems like we end up all of Rutherford County here lately, and especially with our guests today. But good morning, Wayne. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Rick. Doing very well. Beautiful day. Other than the humidity doesn't seem quite as bad this morning as it has the last few days.
I agree. I watched the Atlanta Braves game last night, and they were showing the pictures, and they were absolutely looked like there was raining on them. They had so much water coming off of them.
They did beat the Yankees. I had to tune out when the Grands went to bed. So
I get it. Yeah, they were whooping up on them pretty good. I like that.
That's always a good day when the Yankees get beat. So and the Braves win. So hey, bro, it is football time here in Rutherford County. I'm really pumped about that as well.
I am too. I'm ready.
Just gets that blood just going.
Yeah.
You know,
I actually drove over to Smyrna High School because they're doing all that expansion work.
Right.
So I wanted to see what parking and what this football stadium is going to be like as far as being able to get in and out of there because it's a mess.
It'll be an inconvenience.
It's going to be worth it
time,
when it's done.
But it's quite a bit of value of getting that expansion and getting those young people out of those trailers.
That's right.
That's my mentality. Rick, this morning I think we're both thrilled because we both care about how children are cared for, and we have Beth Bryant, who is the program coordinator for Isaiah 117, and talk about taking care of children. God bless you, and thank you for being with us this morning, Miss Beth.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I'm really excited to be here.
We always tried, rather than Rick or I, to read a long bio. We always try to have our guests share what they desired the audience to know prior to getting into the weeds, if you will, of your of who you represent.
Sure. So I'm a Tennessean, lived in Tennessee my whole life. Rutherford County, I've been here since 1994. I came from East Tennessee, where I went to high school, to Murfreesboro to go to MTSU. So go Blue Raiders.
Amen. Go Blue.
So I was there for undergrad for 5 years, graduated with a degree in education, focusing on elementary. And pretty soon after that, I started teaching in Rutherford County. My first job was at Eagleville.
Oh, neat.
Yes,
okay.
And I taught there.
Miss Holton?
Well, she was the assistant principal when I was there.
Oh, really?
Buddy Page.
Okay,
yeah.
that's been a while back.
Yeah, I just aged myself. I guess.
I'm sorry. Didn't need to do that to
okay.
you.
That's okay. But I taught there for 3 years. Kindergarten, first grade, and I actually did an at-risk preschool one year for at-risk children in the area. You know, at that time, and it may still be. Eagleville was a Title I school, and they, had a lot of children in need in that area.
I don't think they are now.
Okay.
I
mean, this was back in the early 2000s. I mean, I had students that didn't have running water. I had students that didn't have electricity. So there were definitely some challenges there for those guys. And then went from there. I taught at Christiana Elementary for 1 year. And about that time, I went back to MTSU and started working on my master's. Somewhere in there met my husband. And then Thurman Francis Elementary School or Arts Academy in Smyrna at the time was just like upper grades for magnet students, and they were looking to add like kindergarten, first, second grade. So I gave Jerome Drake a call, and I said, hey, I know you don't know me, but I think you need to hire me to come start your kindergarten program. And so I interviewed with him and taught there for 3 years. It's an amazing school. Yep. I just love it. In fact, both of my children went back and attended elementary school there, and kindergarten through fifth grade, and been a stay-at-home mom before I took this job with Isaiah 117 for 16, almost 17 years, but
Wow.
have been involved in the community. Definitely, I was the PTO president there at Thurman Francis for about 5-6 years.
A glutton for punishment. then.
Yeah. And my husband and I, and our 2 children, we lived in Smyrna, the heart of Smyrna, for quite some time. My husband works in Nashville, so at the time he was commuting back and forth, and it was just, the area that I knew as far as teaching. And so now we live in what I call Smurfreesboro, kind of off of, that Almaville area. And so my son is a junior at Stewart's Creek High School, and he plays baseball there. And then my daughter just started her freshman year at Central Magnet School, and she plays soccer there on the varsity team. So I spend time all over the county. So, I love Rutherford County, and it's definitely the longest place I've ever lived.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's a great place to be.
And we, like Rick said, we usually try to focus on the northern end of the county, but with a program like yours that
Right.
really affects not only that area, but the entire county community. So we're pleased to have you talk about that this morning.
Absolutely. So Isaiah 117, I got involved, I guess, close to 2 years ago. I attend church at St. Patrick's Anglican Church. Technically, I think we are a Murfreesboro address, but again, it's kind of that Smurfreesboro,
It is.
Blackman area.
I have not heard that term before.
Really?
That's pretty cool. I'll have to remember that. I'll plagiarize you then.
Okay, yeah, you always have to give me credit when you use it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So at the time, Rhonda Polson, who is the founder of Isaiah 117, came and spoke at our church, and just really got our parishioners and our community fired up about trying to get this house built in Rutherford County. And I just came on as a volunteer at first. I was just kind of, at that time we didn't have a house, and so we were serving children while they were at the DCS office, and so I would sign up to be on call, and if there was a child that needed something at the house, I would get a call from Allie Downhauer and Jess Long, who were the 2 program coordinators at the time. Hey, we've got a kiddo at the DCS office who is hungry, would really love to have a pizza and a Sprite, and also could you go shopping and get him some clothes and some things to help start the next part of his journey. And so I kind of got involved that way. But at that time we were really in the beginning stages of building the house, and so we had a little group chat where Allie and Jess would reach out like, hey, does anybody have a connection in the community with an HVAC company? Does anybody know anybody that does electricity? Because we were trying to get so many of these things donated for the home, to keep our costs down. And because I had been so involved with being the PTO president and really getting other local businesses on board to help our school, I had a lot of those connections, and so I kind of started helping them that way. And pretty soon after that, they asked me if I'd be in charge of the golf tournament, and I said yes. I've never done a golf tournament before, but I'm not afraid to ask people for money, so sure, why not? So I was in charge of our golf tournament last year at Indian Hills Golf Course, and that went really well. And from there, they said, we'd really like you to join our leadership advisory team and just kind of, be part of our group that just kind of knows what's going on in the community and can help us and kind of guide us. So I said, sure, I'll do that. And then we opened our doors the end of April. And I think the week before we opened, I got hired on to be an assistant to Allie and Jess. For when our house opened and we had kiddos, we have an on-call phone, so we all take turns with the on-call phone. And if DCS needs anything, they reach out and call that phone. So I was kind of coming on to continue to help, fundraise and that kind of thing, but also to help relieve them of that on-call phone twice a month. And not long after we opened, Allie decided that God was telling her it was her season of helping with Isaiah 117 was kind of coming to an end, and it was time to focus on her family. So she stepped down as the co-program coordinator, and I stepped into her spot. And Jess and I have been working side by side for a while now, and things are going great. All of the Isaiah 117 houses are kind of doing a staffing change, and they were looking for someone to be a full-time coordinator. And God just kept leading me, and I said, okay, sure, I'll do it. So starting in September, I'm going to be the full-time program coordinator, and Jess will stay on to help me part-time. She's been amazing. She's been there from the beginning, and so I definitely, need her as a support system. But, since we opened our doors in April, I think there's maybe been a handful of days where we didn't have kids in the house. We're pretty much serving the children in Rutherford County every day. So
Rick, of course, with his past profession as a retired police detective, had a lot to do with rescuing children from dangerous situations. Mm-hmm. So he's more knowledgeable about this than I would be. So there is a local DCS office that the children come to here in Murfreesboro, and then I guess I'm not sure how that process works.
Yeah. So when DCS decides that they need to remove children or a child from their home, their caseworker will bring them. Typically, they would come to the DCS office, which is actually, a pretty good closeness to where we are located, which is very helpful. Sure. When transporting kiddos. But they would bring them to the office, and the caseworker would then have to start making phone calls. Is there another family member that can take this child before we put them into a placement situation? And then start calling available foster families. Is there someone that's available to take this child into their home? And while all this is happening, typically the child is sitting right there, in the cubicle or in the office, maybe on a couch, just scared. You can imagine scared, sure. Alone, a lot of times hungry, tired, exhausted, just overwhelmed. And so what we do is when DCS or CPS, Child Protective Services, is you've got all the different departments. When Child Protective Services has a child or a family of children, we encourage them to reach out to us on that on-call phone. And so what they can do is they can bring the child that they've removed directly to our home. And we have over 50 very well-trained certified volunteers that sign up to be on call. So we'll, when we know a child is coming, we'll let our volunteers know. They'll be there to welcome the child as they come in. And then the DCS or CPS worker can then go into our office and do all of that paperwork and phone calls and the hard stuff that she or he's got to do from there while our volunteers take care of the child and make them feel welcome and make them feel not afraid. And if they're hungry, we have a kitchen full of everything, all the child-friendly snacks, all the chicken nuggets, all the mac and cheese. Yeah. What we're learning with our teens is ramen noodles. They love ramen noodles, so we try to keep those in the pantry. And then, if they want to take a shower, we've got, or a bath, we've got, that there. We've got a big comfy couch with a big TV and video games. We've got board games, toys, anything really that you can think of that a child might want during that time. And then while the child is, adjusting to what's going on, we have a volunteer upstairs in our giving room, pulling everything that he or she is going to need, clothing, toiletries, shoes, a stuffed animal to love on, a pillow, a blanket, backpacks. Right now with kids going back to school, we have kids that are being removed that come to us literally with nothing but the clothes that they were taken out of their home in. And so we have a whole area just dedicated to school supplies, things that have been donated by the community, so we can make sure that not only did, when these kiddos are going to their next placement or their next journey, part of their journey, we're sending them away with clothing and a backpack full of things. We also, one of the things that I love that we do, we have a whole group of volunteers that love to cook. And so what they do is they will prepare like 13 by 9, like casserole type dishes that we keep in a deep freezer. And so when a child leaves us and goes to their foster placement, they're coming with at least 3 days worth of clothing. If they need, school supplies, they've got that. And we also send them with a dinner so that they can sit down with their new family and have that dinner together. So we're there for the children. We're there to help. We're there to help support the caseworkers, but also the foster parents, because a lot of times when children come to a foster home, it's in the middle of the night. They don't have anything, and that foster parent is then like, okay, I'm so glad you're here, but I don't have anything for you because I didn't know who was coming or what age you were. So,
Sure.
we send those kids on to their next placement. A lot of times, if it's the middle of the night, freshly bathed and in new pajamas, and by then they've calmed down and they've adjusted to things, and we just are trying to give them some joy and a little bit of light and hope, and what is probably the worst day of their lives.
Sure.
So that's our goal.
So it sounds like April was about when the house opened
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
So what's the average statistically wise? How many kids you have serve in a month or a week, or how's that working? Because it sounds like this is an evolving process. So.
It is.
Yeah.
And so typically, we can have anywhere. It depends if we've got a family, like we try to, keep just one family in the house at a time. But what we've been finding is, especially with the younger children, they're not really staying overnight in the home, and that's great. We want these children to get placed, and we'll have them for anywhere from 1 to maybe 4 or 5 hours before they move on to their next journey. But I mean, last week alone, I would say we served at least 6 or 7 children, and that includes not just kids that we see in our home, but kids that we get phone calls about that are in need of things as well. So
I know that sounds like a low number. Somebody out here might be thinking right now that's a low number, but that's a big number, because that's almost one every night.
Right.
And it's never, these cases are never at 12 o'clock noon on a, it's always in the middle of the night, and it's always on midnight shift, and it's always with people that are on call or volunteering, and this is my years of experience with it, with DCS and their caseworkers and placements, and they try to place them back in with a family member or some loved one or somebody that's a tie to the family that has a history with the child, so that way there's not so much trauma going into the child of somebody just that they don't know at all, and they're going there at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just impressed with the program. It's something needed. I hate that y'all are nonprofit. I think it's something the state ought to be funding, because obviously the work you're doing is God's work, and it needs to.
Amen.
Well, I will say this, Rick. Rutherford County has just embraced us, and we feel so very blessed. We have so many local businesses that support us. I mean, the house alone, every room in the house was sponsored by a different group or business or church, and that organization paid for all of the things that went into that room. So literally, we have a sign going up to our giving room that says, "This is the house the community built," and that's definitely the truth. I mean, we are so very blessed to be here in Rutherford County, and just to have so much support from everyone. I go up into the giving room sometimes, and it kind of gives me chills, because you look around, and I mean, it's literally wall to wall shelving with tubs full of things that children might need.
Yeah.
And all of it was donated by the community. So
Do you find a lot of your volunteer stuff are church-based groups that are get involved with you, or
we
kind
have
of both?
It's kind of a mixture of both. I do think at the beginning that it was definitely a lot of local churches that Allie and Jess at the time were reaching out to. But now that I've come on, I'm really trying to spread that awareness to some other groups. I am going to be lucky enough to speak to the Murfreesboro Rotary Club this Thursday morning about us and who we are and how they can get involved. And I've set up meetings with several other groups as well here in town. The Women's Club, I think we're speaking with the Women's Club in November, so I'm excited to talk to them. I think it's just getting the word out, because I know for me personally, when Rhonda came and spoke at our church, it was kind of like I had no idea that this was a need.
Right.
And I think I really think, I think that's the thing. It's not that people don't care. They just don't know. Mm-hmm. They don't know that so many children in Rutherford County are in need of something like Isaiah 117 House. And it makes me sad that they are, but I'm so very glad that we can be there to help them.
Yeah.
So.
And I agree 100% with that, because we had the Atlas program and having a coordinator on there. There's over 1,200 kids that, don't have a steady home to go home to
and
every
that's
night.
just in the Rutherford County system. That's not counting the Murfreesboro system.
Wow.
Yes, they have their own, Atlas program as well. Yeah. I guess we think of maybe a child coming into the home, but is it normally several siblings that are or that you're serving at one time?
It really just depends. We definitely have had quite a few sibling groups. What we're finding a lot, at least that from our perspective, is it's a lot of teenagers. And the sad thing is, those teens are really, it's a lot harder to find placement for them. And so we do serve a lot of teens at our home. Teens that, maybe on paper don't look so great, but when they get into our house and we love on them and we get to know them and they share their stories with us, you understand why they had, why they did some of the things that they might have done, some of the choices that they made that they wish that they hadn't made, because they have just experienced so much trauma.
Yeah, I agree.
And so we've really been blessed to be able to help the teenagers, I feel like, in Rutherford County. And one of the things that I love is, Rhonda, and really just the Isaiah 117 House and family in general, encourages us to go above and beyond. And, Jess and I, with one of our teens that was in our home, there was a volunteer that came in, and it was her first day. She was nervous. She's like, I've never been in the home, Beth. Can you please, meet me there and kind of walk me through things? And at the time, I think we had 4 teenage girls that were staying with us. And she just connected with one of the girls, and she and her husband had actually been going through the process of becoming foster parents. And they were, focused on, we're going to get a baby, we're going to get a toddler, and those children definitely need placement, and they get placement pretty quickly. But she called me after her shift that night in tears and said, I think God is calling me to take a teen into our home. I just had no idea that there were so many that needed a home. And so as soon as she said that, Jess and I jumped on board, and we started talking to people that we work with at the Department of Children's Services. And I'm happy to say that that teenager is with that family now. She's been in the system since she was 4, and she is now in a loving home here in Rutherford County and attending the local high school and working on getting her driver's permit. She's excited about learning how to drive, and it's just so amazing to see good things like that happening, So it's not just the house. It really isn't. Like, our volunteers really get to know these kids and help, meet whatever needs we can.
That's amazing. You listen to the program coordinator, Beth Bryant, with Isaiah 117, a nonprofit group here in Rutherford County, kind of serves DCS kids, and I guess you're in between them going to foster care or out to a family member or something like that. But you're listening to the Rick and Wayne Show. We're going to take our first break here, and we'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Hi, this is Mike Cutter. I am the owner of the award-winning family-owned home care agency, Honey Hill Home Care. Are you or a loved one in need of a reliable, compassionate caregiver? We take the time to match our experienced caregivers with your family member to ensure a comfortable and lasting bond. With us, you can have peace of mind knowing your loved one will receive exceptional assistance, monitoring, and companionship from a trusted caregiver they can rely on. Honey Hill has been the trusted source for home care for hundreds of families in Rutherford County over the last 7 years. Learn more at honeyhillhc.com.
This is Lisa Halliburton with Bell Jewelers.
Tell us about the Pandora collection at Bell Jewelers.
Pandora is still very popular for us. We have a Pandora boutique. As you enter the store, you'll see a nice selection. We have some we call Last Chance that are now 30% off, so you can get some really nice savings. This is Lisa Halliburton at Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots Restaurant.
You know, there's a lot of people out there talking about testosterone. You hear about treatment centers everywhere. But do your homework and go to a provider that you can trust, one that's been doing it for years. I recommend Low T Center on Medical Center Parkway in Murfreesboro. That's where I get my levels checked. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy. Walk in, take a simple blood test, and then with their on-site lab, you get the results in 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, weight gain, or loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T Center is not like a typical doctor's office where you have to wait a long time to see the doctor. Low T Center is concierge medicine exclusively for men. They have affordable and convenient options, including physician-monitored self-inject treatments that ship directly to your home each month. No need to drive to the center for weekly visits. Right now at Low T Center, it's only $25 to get your testosterone level tested. So what are you waiting for? Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hi, this is Bob Cornell, pastor of Covenant Church right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The answer that you've been looking for is found in Jesus and what he accomplished at the cross. You see, Jesus changes lives from the inside out. We would love for you to join us at Covenant Church, located at 1124 Brinkley Ave right here in Murfreesboro. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. You can learn more about us at our Cornell Ministries YouTube channel. We want you to grow in Christ at Covenant Church.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and Americare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Now, WGNS Good Neighbor Events. No sales tax on food and food ingredients in Tennessee for the next 3 months. That's right, now through October 31st, no sales tax on food and food ingredients. That includes grocery stores, restaurants, farmers markets, food trucks, and more. The tax relief on food does not include alcoholic beverages, tobacco, candy, or dietary supplements. It continues now through October 31st. On another important topic, the Red Cross is critically low on blood. You are encouraged to give blood at the Red Cross. It will save lives. Call the Red Cross and set up an appointment for a time that fits your schedule. The phone number, 1-800-RED-CROSS. And I want to remind you, the Parkinson's Support Group meets on the first and third Friday of each month over at the St. Clair Senior Center. That's right, 10 o'clock in the morning on the first and third Friday. The St. Clair Senior Center is at 325 St. Clair Street. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Good neighbor weather. We'll see mostly sunny skies here this afternoon, a high in the low 80s. Northwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 62. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vujcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 73.
WGNS powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Looking to go solar? MTE's Pro Solar program is committed to educating members on the process and helping them achieve their renewable energy goals. Learn more about Pro Solar and your free consultation at mte.com/prosolar.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And welcome back to the second segment of the Rick and Wayne Show. It comes to you every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. This morning, it is our pleasure to have the program coordinator for Isaiah 117, longtime Rutherford Countyan, Beth Bryant. And, you're just tugging at heartstrings this morning, just to talk about children that are, just in horrible situations, and even coming from an abusive home into a safe place. I would think that would, and Rick, you probably experienced this in your time, just even trying to get them safe. I would think that going to whatever, a strange place, is still going to be tough, even though they feel safe or safer. It's out of their normal space, I guess you would say. So, wow, what a God's work as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely. This is definitely I say the house the community built, but it's definitely God's house for sure. And, Jess, my co-program coordinator, and I talk about this all the time, like things that we might worry about. How are we going to make this happen? How is this going to turn out? I mean, even last night we were talking about a little girl that had been in our home for several days, and the way our house works was, typically the kids stay three nights, and that's relative. If it looks like they need an extra night or two, then we'll definitely give them that. But we were, discussing about a little girl that we've had in our home, and we were just like, what's next for her? We just don't know what's next for her. And literally we got off the phone and she called me right back because she's on call this week, and she said, "You're not gonna believe this. We have permanent placement for her. She's going to a home permanently." And so, I feel like every time we start to think, how are we going to do this? And we pray about it, God always has an answer. So,
well, I think years ago we used to have, you thought of foster homes, so there were state-run foster homes, just like you would have Central State when I was dating myself in the 90s, when being an officer, that we had people with mental illness, we would take them up, and there was a Central State, but the state phased a lot of those programs out, and they never filled the holes back up for, not only the mentally ill, but the children as well. But there's so many, it's like an octopus, there's so many arms of a situation. It's not as simple as just having, let's say you've got a 3-year-old little girl sitting here that's been displaced from her family that we've had to take in. It's, we have Smyrna has a program coordinator, and I think all of them pretty much agency-wide, they've all gone to that system, but we have a program coordinator, Shirley Key, down there that does work for us as officers, that we would be able to turn to her. Simple thing is a car seat. So you're going to take a child and you got to leave the house with it, and then, you don't have a car seat. And there's so many holes that people don't think about, A to Z, that you're trying to take care of at the same time, and you can only do so much.
We have an attic full of car seats and booster seats.
See what I'm talking about? Yeah.
The psychological part of it, I see the need, but I also see with the displacement, the psychological part for a child too, no matter if it's a toddler to a teenager.
Right.
Trying to deal with that, I would think would be just so tough.
The summer was especially hard. We have, a wonderful lady at DCS that basically kind of sends us an email or shoots us a text every afternoon and lets us know what her needs are. And there were several days where I would talk to her on the phone and she would say, "Beth, I have 24 Rutherford County kids that do not have a place to sleep tonight." 24. That's just our county.
I know.
And it is,
it's not right. It just blows me away that the needs that are out there, and they're just not getting, we can talk about it, but they're just not getting met. I know we just had a thing with they're having a fundraiser right now for non-perishables for our other program with the homeless children. They're just trying to take in things, and 1,200, and like you say, you're taking a kid in every night.
Right.
Every day you're at least getting one. So
I did kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about how Isaiah 117 House got started. So our first house was in Carter County, which is Elizabethton, Johnson City-ish area. And our founders, Rhonda and Corey Paulson, at the time were taking a foster child into their home and looking to go through the adoption process. And so at one point they were at the Carter County DCS office in the conference room for a meeting with their caseworker. And Rhonda looked around and there were sleeping bags and pillows on the floor. And she said, "What's going on here?" And the caseworker said, "Well, children slept on the floor of this office last night." And, Rhonda said, it was just like God spoke to her and said, "Rhonda, you have got to build a house for these kids." And so they did. And so the first Isaiah 117 house is in Carter County. It opened 5 years ago. So since then, just to let you know, like with Tennessee alone, Tennessee has 14 houses currently open serving children. And we've got at least 6 more coming. There's one being renovated, an older house being renovated in Davidson County. Shelby County is in the process of purchasing land and getting their house going. Robertson County house is pretty close to opening, I would say. The next couple of months, Robertson County will be up and running. And then Anderson and Knox County are both have homes that are being built. I think the Knox County house is pretty close to opening, and also Hamilton County. So, that's almost 20 houses right there, or it is 20 houses right there in our state. So we're really blessed about that. We actually have homes in 9 states currently. Let me say 8 states currently, and then a house being built in Pennsylvania. They're working on building that house right now. So, basically, like I said before, it's not that people don't care, they just don't know. Sure. And so what basically you need is a group of people in any given city or county to get together and say, this is not okay. Mm-hmm. And we need to do something about this. And that's kind of where Isaiah 117 House gets involved and works with that group to get that house built. And that's how our house got started. Allie Downhauer, who, I said stepped down as program coordinator, but she's still, a volunteer in our home. And she stood up and said, "I want to do something about this." And Jessica Long, who is my partner in crime, said, "I want to help. I'm in." And that's really how our Rutherford County house got started. That's how all these houses got started. And, once somebody decides, hey, we want to do this, Isaiah 117 comes on board, and they start spreading awareness in the community. Do that for about 6 months. And then they typically will have an event, a lunch, where they can invite people to come in and learn a little bit more. And then usually that same day you're doing a dinner that night as well. So kind of 2 fundraisers in one. And it's a lot of work, but, raise some money, enough money to get started, and then start looking for land or a house. A lot of times there's a house that maybe can be renovated. And
these are literally houses. I was looking online at your stuff, and it's real houses. It's not a brick and mortar commercial building. No. It's literally a house.
It is. We have a beautiful white brick house with a red door, and we have a front porch with rocking chairs. We have a screened in back porch. That's kind of the talking place when kids are having a rough day. They'll say, "Can we go on the back porch and talk a little bit?" And at night you can hear the frogs and the fireflies, and it's a great place. We've got a big fenced-in backyard with swing set and slide and picnic tables, hammocks for the older kids to kind of hang out there. Basketball goal in the driveway. I mean, it's a house, definitely.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As you talk to these so-called civic clubs, of course, Rick and I are both members of the Smyrna Rotary Club. I just paint the picture that you're painting this morning, because just thinking of these children, babies, teenagers, sitting at a DCS office with nothing, just breaks my heart. I mean, just they're being pulled out of their home, whatever the condition that home is or was, they're still being pulled out of their normal routine, and then they're sitting in a strange place, not knowing where they're going to go. Like I said, hungry, maybe dirty, with just maybe the clothes on their back. And I think Rick and I will make a real hard plea for our club to be of assistance if we're not already, but to get the other two Murfreesboro clubs involved and whoever else we can talk into being a partner. I mean, you are doing God's work. It's amazing what y'all are accomplishing.
And we really couldn't do it without the community and the support that we get. Like I said, we are so blessed. So we are always looking to spread awareness. So if there are other groups out there that would like for us to come and speak or would like to learn more, we're definitely open to do that. So
are y'all reaching out to law enforcement in any way, or just your relationship with DCS?
Pretty much, we work with DCS. I mean, we would love to, maybe kind of let law enforcement know who we are and what we're doing.
Yeah.
Everybody that making sure the whole community is aware,
right,
I think is the most important thing. Kind of going back to what I was talking a minute ago about Rhonda Paulson, our founder, and the story of her building that first house. She and her family have actually written a book called He's Inviting Us In, and it's the story of how God spoke to her about building this home and her journey with her family and her biological children, and then later her 2 adopted children. And that book is actually available on Amazon for purchase. And all of the funds from from the book will go back to help the resource center, the main kind of hub of our organization. So, and it's a great book. I've been reading it. It's wonderful. Rhonda's a really good storyteller. And she definitely does a really good job with her book. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're listening to the program coordinator for Isaiah 117, Beth Bryant. We're going to take our second break here real quick with the Rick and Wayne Show, and come back for the final 10 minutes.
This is Adam Tipton with the Rutherford County Farm Bureau. We would like to show our appreciation to all of our Farm Bureau members by inviting you to our annual membership meeting tonight at the Lane Agri Park, 315 John Rice Boulevard. We will start serving barbecue with all the trimmings at 5 p.m. The meeting will be immediately following. For information, call 615-893-1213 or visit our website, rcfarmbureau.org.
The Farm Bureau annual meeting is tonight.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
This is Dr. David Morris with Magnolia Medical Center. Do you suffer from peripheral neuropathy in your hands or feet, burning pain, balance problems, and decreased quality of life? Magnolia Medical Center can help.
Magnolia Medical Center in Murfreesboro. Online at magnoliamedicalcenters.com.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstireprostn.com.
Woodbury Road Baptist Church invites you to worship with us this Sunday morning at 10:45. If you can't make it in person, listen to WGNS Sunday morning at 10:15. Find out more at woodburyroadbaptist.org. We look forward to worshiping with you this Sunday.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the third and final segment of the Rick and Wayne Show. This morning it's been our pleasure, and again, you're tugging at our heartstrings this morning. Beth Bryant, the program coordinator with Isaiah 117. Of course, we're going to get into some more, but why don't you share how someone who wanted to volunteer, donate, to be of help to your program, how would they be in contact with Isaiah 117?
Well, I think the first thing to do is to go to Isaiah117house.com. That is our main website. It kind of tells our story and how we got started. But within that website, you can search locations and you can choose the Rutherford County House. And there's lots of information there. But, I mean, emailing us at rutherfordtn@Isaiah117house.com. And then finding us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. It's Isaiah 117 House, Rutherford County. And then, I think social media is a great way to just kind of follow along with what's going on locally in our home. And we share stories about the children and things, heartwarming things that happen in the home. But also like events that we have coming up. We share a lot of that on social media as well. I mentioned the golf tournament that I was in charge of last year. That's coming up September 22nd, and it's going to be at Indian Hills Golf Course again. And on our website, you can find links to sign up to sponsor. We're still looking for team sponsors and other, corporate sponsors that want to help us out. So we'd love to have any golfers out there. We'd love to have you join us for that.
What's the date of that?
It's Friday, September the 22nd. And we start with lunch. We'll feed you once you get registered. And then we have shotgun start at 1 o'clock.
And where is it going to be?
It's at Indian Hills Golf Course. And we can have up to 36 teams. So if you haven't signed up and you're interested, I would encourage you to go ahead and do that before. We've pretty much sold out every year. So
that's great.
I think, we're filling up pretty quick right now. No offense, but golfers and men in general tend to wait till the last minute to do things.
We resemble that remark.
That's why we all have a better half.
Right. But it is filling up. But we definitely have some more sponsorship availability for any local business that wants to get involved.
It does warm my heart to know that there are people like you and the people that are involved with Isaiah House. And of course, I know Rick's heart when he was a detective for so long, that who are looking out for the best interest of these children. And of course, having the Atlas program, I think we just we walked out of here going, oh my, that many homeless children.
Right.
And to find out that there's that many children being displaced because of whatever situation in their home life, and it just breaks your heart. A
story that I'll share with you guys. I shared a little while ago that I have two teenagers. I have a 17-year-old son, and he is baseball, and then my daughter plays soccer. And she's starting her freshman year this year, so she spent pretty much all summer out in our backyard. We've got a goal out back where she can practice shooting, and she worked on dribbling and foot skills and just preparing herself so that when she got to that tryout, that she was ready and was hoping to make the team. So earlier in the summer, we had a young lady that came to us. She was a new removal, and she's also, you could tell by looking at her immediately, like, this girl's an athlete. She definitely, looked like someone who had exercised and worked and, tried hard. And turns out she was a soccer player too. And she and my daughter actually, played the same position. And I went home that night that she first came, and I thought, I can't imagine being in her situation. Not only does she not know where she's going to live, she has no idea where she's going to go to school. Will she make it in time to try out for whatever team that, whatever school that she ends up at? Will she be able to even try out for the soccer team? Or is she going to miss all of that altogether? And just thinking about the uncertainty that these children are just, things that are out of their control, things they have no control over at all. Just talking about pulling at your heartstrings. I mean, that just got me. So I next day went back to the house, and she and I just sat down and talked about it. And I said, I know you don't have control over all those things. And I said, so what I would like for you to focus on is the things you do have control over. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to go to Dick's right now and get you a really nice soccer ball, and if you need tennis shoes or cleats, and you can get out in that backyard. And that's something that you can do. You can work on dribbling. You can work on those foot skills. Heck, I'll get out there and you can shoot at me, and I'll try to defend the ball. But, trying to help these kids focus on the positive things in such a hard time in their lives. And our volunteers just do an amazing job of that. They'll reach out to us all the time and say, hey, I was talking with this kiddo, and they, I found out that they are musical, and they play the drums. And we had a little girl who shared with one of our volunteers that what she missed more than anything was playing the drums with her worship team at her church. Yeah. She said, I just don't know who's going to play the drums when I'm not there. And so we reached out. My church, St. Patrick's Anglican Church, we have a member there. His name is Ross Lester, and he has started a group called Everybody Drums Some. And he goes around to local schools or nursing homes, or a lot of times the community will come and meet at our church, and he has all these drums. And they just get together and jam on the drums. And so I gave him a call that day, and I said, look, we've got this girl in the house, and she is missing jamming on the drums. Is there any way you could bring some drums to the house and just let her play the drums? He was like, absolutely. I'll be there in 3 hours. And so he came in, he brought a bunch of drums, and she was having the best time. She and Ross were really going at it. The caseworker got on a drum, our volunteer got on a drum, and they just had a big jam session, So it's just paying attention to those things. Like, those things can't happen in a DCS office. They just can't, because the caseworker doesn't have the time to focus on the child and see, what can I do to make this day a little better for them? Because their focus has to be on that next step. And so that's where our volunteers come in. They spend that time with the kids and learn what they love and what they need, and just get to know them.
Are there some partnerships out there that you would like to give a shout out here towards the end of the program?
Well, sure. Actually, one of the ones you guys were talking about football earlier that we're super excited about is Ascend, and they are working with the MTSU Blue Raiders, and every time the Blue Raiders kick a field goal, they're going to donate $50 to our house, to our Rutherford County house. So we're excited about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I hope it's a bunch of touchdowns too.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Year, but yeah, I'll be cheering for the field goals as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where do we? I'm just trying to think here towards the end that. How can I know people out there are wanting to give or do something, and I was kind of looking on your website, and it's pretty well organized. So if a person wants to go on y'all's they're able to donate, and there's about 3 different ways they can donate.
Yeah, you want me to talk
go
about
into that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So once you find our link tree, we've got all sorts of buttons you can push. Yep. There's one there to register for the golf tournament. There's one just to hear our story. There's one if you would like to volunteer, you can click there, and there's a volunteer form an interest form that you can fill out, and that comes to us, and then we'll reach back out to you. Because there's lots of, you don't just have to be in the house with kiddos. There are other things happening behind the scenes that we definitely need volunteers for. Also, we have a program called Sock Buddies. I don't know if you saw that button, but you can.
I did.
Yeah, you can sign up to give whatever you feel like you can give monthly, and you get some really cool Isaiah 117 socks to wear out around town. And so I think. Oh, also our Amazon wish list is on there as well.
Oh, wow.
And I think Jess was going to add a few things to that yesterday. Another thing that we have going, and I wanted to mention this, I know I talked a little bit about our giving room and about all the tubs. Golly, I really should count how many tubs are up there. I just can't even tell you. But every tub has a sponsor. And it can be a family, it can be a small group at a church. And so let's just say the tub is girls size 5'6" pajamas. And so say, Rick, you sign up you and your family sign up to sponsor that tub. So what happens is when that tub is running low and needs more pajamas, we'll give you a call and say, hey, your pajama tub could use about 5 or 6 more pairs of pajamas. And then you can go out and shop and get those and drop them off with us. Or, you can always use Amazon and send them to us as well. But yeah, if you want to reach out to us through our social media, you can send us messages. We're checking those messages every day. Also, on the website, I think our Rutherford TN at Isaiah117house.com email is there. You can send us an email that way. But yeah, so hopefully everybody can find our website.
I'm thinking that a Rick and Wayne show tub would be kind of
Oh,
neat,
yeah.
We're on to something now.
Sounds great.
I'm fine with that.
now my brain's thinking, okay, what am I going to assign you guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What am I going to make you go
we'll
shopping
have sports
for?
equipment, I'm sure.
Hey, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Footballs, soccer balls, basketballs, that kind of thing. That'd be awesome.
Sure.
Well, I
We'd
think
love
we're on
that.
to something.
I'm just, we've had, I think Rick counted up this, we're close to 70 shows right now. And,
Wow.
And we've had so many great guests, but, anytime you get to have someone that's taking care of our children, especially our children that are in one of the worst sort of ways, just makes you feel so good to promote what Isaiah 117 is
Right.
doing and accomplishing.
We talked a little bit about the enormity of the children. I mean, gosh, not just in Rutherford County, but in Tennessee in general that are awaiting placement. And, one of the things that Jess and I run into a lot is just the overwhelmingness of all the things that we wish we could fix, all the problems that we wish we could solve. And what we try to do is, we're just two people, we're just a home. We can't fix all these problems, but we can get Ross Lester from Everybody Drums Some to come in and play the drums, or we can make sure that, that young lady has a soccer ball. We can bring these kiddos in and, hey, if you could have anything to eat right now, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And we, lavishly love on children is what we do while we have them, just, to prepare them and help them feel a little more confident moving on to the next part of their journey.
Some hope.
Absolutely, hope. Yeah.
And hope, if we don't have hope, I'm not sure we have anything.
And a lot of these kiddos have not ever had anything to be hopeful about. So.
Well, I think, obviously, like you're saying, as a country, as a world, this is a problem that's never going to go away. It's always going to be there. But we're just, through your program, I feel like we're just trying to lessen the blow a little bit on that child, to give that child a leg up to where, hey, you don't have to follow, your family way it's been going. You can be that different one that steps out and goes in a different direction. And a lot of times that opportunity like this, and you hear so many times, it's unfortunate. It's a child that's found that through a sport or something, that they're a gifted athlete, that are able to pull themselves up out of that situation they've been in commonly. But with people that play music and people that are educationally smarter than most, are in this same dilemma, but they don't have that
the resources,
little pull to get them out of it. And
every time we do a show that focuses on children, I think of the former Rutherford County Director of Schools, Harry Gill. He would say that as a society, we are judged by the way we treat our children.
Wow.
And what y'all are doing is just so incredible.
I agree. You got my wheels turning. That's why I asked if you reached out to law enforcement, because I'll be honest with you, as far as foster kids go, a lot of times they don't end up in the same county of which they originated.
Right.
So
we found that
if you've got a kid that's in Rutherford County, and let's say they come out of a Shelby County system, then DCS is in charge of that kid, but they happen to be in Memphis, and it takes them 4 to 6 hours to get over back, where if they've got pulled out of that foster thing, that if law enforcement had a link to you guys or a way to get to you guys, it would put temporary housing for that child till that's done. And
Sure.
we a lot of times don't. We're doing the same thing. They're sitting at our offices.
Wow.
So it's just something to think
Again, you don't know until you know.
That's right. Yeah.
God bless you, Beth.
Thank you.
and
Thank
what
you guys
y'all
for
are
having
doing.
me. I truly appreciate it.
We've been thrilled to have you this morning.
Again, it's been Beth Bryant. She's a coordinator for Isaiah 117. Look up Isaiah117house.com if you want more information about how to donate or help. And obviously, it's a worthy cause. But I hope everybody enjoyed our show for this week, and we'll be back with you. I think we got Jeff Peach, town attorney, on next week, so
Yes,
that'll
sir.
be a good show. But
Yes, sir.
everybody have a great day. We'll see you next week.